This is Heat TV with the preview of the visit of the Plymouth Raiders coming up on Sunday. The Heat are now in the middle of a 3-game losing streak after the loss up in Sheffield. So, John, are we going to get the win against the Raiders?
I'd like to think so, but I think it's going to be a really tough ask. I think Plymouth are playing some really good basketball. They've had some really good results, and they're of course into a final. They got through to the trophy final after their really good win, overtime win against Milton Keynes Lions, having lost by 6 in Milton Keynes and then won by 6 in normal time at Plymouth, sending the game into overtime. They've got some really good players as well. Of course, we've got the former Heat interest. James Jones is playing for Plymouth, and we've got Tomasz Januszewskis, who's also playing for Plymouth. But they've got some very good players, haven't they? Some very talented basketball players. So it's going to be a tough ask for the Heat. We just hope that we can play some good basketball, and if people perform on the day, and anything's possible. I think we've proved that all through the season.
We have,
We've got players who can come up with the goods. If we can play the defence, stop them scoring, and if we can execute on offence, anybody can win.
Yes, really. I'd agree with that.
Simple game.
I mean, the one thing that might be in our favour is historically Plymouth have not been the best road team in the world. They've got a long way to travel wherever they play. We're one of the closest rivals. And they haven't got a great away record this season, but that's largely because they haven't played many games away.
They have played the Heat, and they did win by 4, didn't they?
They did here in the trophy very early on, and then we had another close game down there. And then, of course, we had that complete blowout a few weeks ago down in Plymouth. I don't underestimate the task. They're a good team. They're playing well. As you say, they've got a good bunch of players. Jeremy Bell's have been a thorn in our flesh for years in his days with Chester Jets. I mean, Paul Williams had a great season last year with the Sheffield Sharks and having another great season down there. Limon Colbert has been playing well for the Raiders for a couple of seasons. Anthony Rowe,
good big unit,
probably
Colbert.
One of the better young British power forwards in the league. Another good player. Reminds me a lot of Mike Martin in a lot of his game. And they've got James Jones as well.
Indeed, and they got players coming off the bench as well. They got another bad loss in a final recently as well, didn't they? They
got beaten by Newcastle.
They were very disappointed in that, but then they put it right when they played us.
So we know
they then showed what they can do.
So maybe we should be grateful they're not playing in a final just before they come and visit us.
Sure.
But
so it should be an entertaining game. Hopefully it'll be an entertaining game because there are some very entertaining players on view. Some very useful guards, good big men. Both teams can play really good basketball. So I'm looking forward to it.
And we've just got to play better fundamentally. I mean, after the disappointment of the loss at the disappointment of the loss against the Mersey Tigers, where we just didn't play well. But apart from the last quarter, but as Coach Creon has said, if we play like we played in the last quarter for a whole game, we're pretty much going to beat anybody. But we've got to play like that all the time.
We've had that problem for a while, haven't we? Well, we can perform for part of the game and perform very well for part of the game, but the key good teams do it all the way through.
I mean that's what sunk us up at Scotland against Scottish Rocks. We played something like 3/4 of the game we played well, and then we had 2 5-minute stretches where they outscored us 17-3 and 17-2, and we lost. No surprise there. And I think you made the point about the Tigers game. We got outscored, 18-5 in the first quarter, and it was just downhill from there. We can't have these periods of no baskets and no scoring. We've got too many of those.
And if it keeps up, of course, then the coach Raftopoulos is going to have to come and look to us to alter the team after our performances.
In the charity game.
I was particularly pleased with the way I played.
Maybe we should get Christian Beale for his 3-point back to the basket specialism.
Yes, indeed.
We've got the people out there.
We have, yes. The talent is there, Coach.
Indeed.
You've just got to make sure that you tap into it.
Indeed. Yeah. So, game is on Sunday, 3:00 tip-off, visit of the Plymouth Raiders. So please come down. We've had brilliant crowds. I mean, that's something that we haven't really talked about. But again, even for the Mersey game, we had a really good crowd a noisy crowd, and they really got behind the team when the team started to play. And I was very pleased with the crowd because, frankly, after that performance, I wouldn't have blamed them if if there'd been some boos, but they weren't. They were solidly behind the team the whole game. So please come on down against Plymouth. You do make a difference. You do, and you could see the crowd just feeding off the team and the team feeding off the
video
crowd.
screen will be back as well for for that game.
Yeah, we had a bit of a technical hitch for this game. But
yeah, technical hitch called Chris Giles, I think.
Yes, Chris. He's stuck out in Tunisia, I believe, enjoying the sunny weather.
Yes.
Working hard. In case anybody thinks Chris abandoned us for a mere holiday, no, he was out working.
That's what he says anyway.
I believe him. Honest man, Chris. Mm-hmm. So we'll see you all hopefully on Sunday at 3:00 for the visit of the Plymouth Raiders, and check out Heat TV for highlights and interviews after the game.